Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
LUTHOR Prime here, so it is time for another actually big unboxing and review today. And in today's video, guys, I'm going to be unboxing a figure of probably my favourite arch enemy of Superman in DC Comics. And this figure is, of course, based on how the character appears in New 52's comic book line in DC. And this, of course, is a figure wearing his power suit as well, guys. And this figure is, of course, none other than, of course, Lex Luthor. So yeah, this is a figure of him as he appears in New 52 in DC Comics, wearing his power suit, and this figure looks really cool, doesn't it? Yeah. So a box, of course, comes with the figure itself, and also two alternate hands. One which appears to be a right hand, which is opened up, and also a left hand, which is clenched into a fist, which is pretty cool, yeah, from the look of it, yeah. And on the back, there appears to be a card, of course, and down there is a stand, so yeah. On the spine here, there's DC Multiverse, which is, of course, the franchise of DC's figures, and, of course, McFarlane Toys, which is one of the Ego companies of all time. It says by DC New 52 for source. Over the response just a DC Multiverse and Lex power suit. On back here, nice picture there. I'm going to guess that this picture of Lex is the same as the card inside. So yeah, and there's other figures down there you can get as well, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I've already got that figure one by Tom McFarlane as well. So yeah. Now, when it comes to Lex Luthor as a character, guys, so as I just said, he's my favourite enemy of Superman of all time. I definitely love him as a character. One of my favourite villains, and when it comes to portrayals of him, my favourite Lex of all time, guys, is most definitely the legendary Clancy Brown. In my opinion, no one can come close to Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor, as far as I'm concerned. And I think he totally embodies the character of Lex Luthor, in my opinion, and plays him perfectly when he voices him in all different things, you know. I've come across him first of all in the DC animated universe. Then, of course, I heard him as Lex when he appeared in the Batman animated series as well in the early 2000s. Then he also pops up as well in Batman Brave and Bold in a guest appearance as an alternate version of Lex Luthor called Raw Tool. In, of course, Zero and R, which was an amazing episode, of course, and yeah, was of course the actual Lex, I'm not sure, it was also Michael Richardson, who was also a great choice for a role too. Then I also heard Clancy as Lex in several of the games I've played, for example, Lego games, because he of course voiced him in Lego Batman 2D Super, which was apparently the first Lego game to feature characters talking instead of a mumbles and all that. And then of course he voiced him again in Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. He didn't return for Lego Dimensions though, because he was instead voiced by Travis Willingham. He was actually a decent substitute for, in my opinion, but doesn't come close to Clancy, in my opinion. Just like, in my opinion, no one will come close to Clancy Brown. Then, of course, he also reprised his role for Lego DC Supervillains as well, which was definitely nice. And yeah, so Clancy, in my opinion, is perfectly cast as Lex, and I also, of course, heard him, of course, in the animated movie Superman Batman Public Enemies, which was definitely a great animated film. I'd recommend it if you've not seen it already. It's a great movie, where he, of course, becomes the President of the United States, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, great movie. And, yeah, Clancy Brown does a great job voicing in Lex and everything, and he, in my opinion, is the greatest Lex of all time. And there's other voices of him that I do also like, too. So, for example, I do definitely like Mark Rolston, who of course voiced him in Young Justice, and then of course voiced him in the first game of Injustice, which is pretty cool. I think he also does a great job voicing Lex as well, in my opinion, in those. And I also like Michael Richardson as well, and I do also like James Masters as him, of course, because he voiced in Superman Doomsday animated movie from 2006, which was a pretty good movie, in my opinion, underrated. I think he did a good job in that movie. Then he later, of course, voiced him in DC Universe Online as well. When it comes to live action, though, my favourite Lex in live action, though, is most definitely Gene Hackman from the Christopher Reeve movies of Superman. And yeah, Gene Hackman was a perfect choice for a role, and he's a great actor in general. And yeah, he definitely, you know, in my opinion, did a great job playing Lex. And obviously, though, I'm not going to say anything kind about Kevin Disgrace, as I call him, because he lost my respect. So I'm not going to say anything kind about his Lex Luthor from Superman Returns at all. So yeah. However, though, I did like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex, though. I'm thinking one of those few people that actually liked him as Lex Luthor, because, you know, I can accept him as he is, because this is a young version of Lex when he just starts, right? So I can accept a younger actor than who would usually be cast playing Lex, so, you know, Jesse Eisenberg, and I'm sure if he got to a prize role when he's older, he might probably do better for all I know. So, yeah. So, I'm one of the people, guys, if I didn't really have a problem with Jesse Eisenberg Lex, I thought he was good what he was given, in my opinion. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to this figure, though, let's get it open, shall we? So, on top, there's 3 pieces of starter, so I'm going to cut them with my scissors. So, here we go. There's one. Now, let's do a side. There we go. Now, for the... There we go. Right, so, now let's open it up. So, inside, of course, here is the figure, secured in its plastic packaging, secured, which is good. And then, now, of course, here is also the background as well, which I'm going to take out because it's got accessories to take out. Now, unfortunately, just like every DC Multiverse figure I've unboxed so far, it's got the same generic background. I don't add anything new at all, really, sadly. I was hoping we'd have like a background from New 52 comics, but sadly not, which is a shame. But yeah, in the meantime, let's get what's in the background out, shall we? Oh. So here is the stand, and unfortunately, it's the same generic stand as I've unboxed in my figures for DC Multiverse so far. It's just black with a DC logo on, really. I'm not going to add a Lex's symbol on New 52 or anything like that, sadly, which is disappointing. However, on a more positive note, here is the card, and as I predicted, it's got the same picture on as the back of the box, which I just showed earlier. And yeah, it looks very nice. It's literally a picture of a figure as well. On the back here is a database, so I'm going to read it. So, the real name, of course, is Alexander or Lex Luthor. A brilliant businessman and inventor, billionaire Lex Luthor once saw himself as the most powerful man on Earth until Superman arrived. Rather than using his wealth and genius to help humanity, Luthor uses his gifts in repeated attempts to destroy Man of Steel. Though he's often defeated, Luthor is an extremely dangerous foe, and his superior intellect is his deadliest weapon. He's constantly inventing new devices in his war against Superman, including his high-tech armored power suit, which he uses to battle Superman. Nice. So yeah, Lex is pretty awesome when he got his suit on, isn't he? And he's using lots of different media that I've come across, so in like, you know... So, he's used it in games, for example, which is pretty cool. And, and also as well, like in Lego games, of course, I think like Batman 3 and Dimensions and DC Supervillains, he, of course, wears a power suit in those, which is pretty cool. And he also, of course, wears it in Injustice as well, in the first Injustice game when you play as him, which is pretty cool. And also, as well, he also uses it in a crossover appearance, which is Mortal Kombat versus DC, which is pretty cool. So he appeared in that crossover, which is pretty nice. So yeah, and also, guys, here he is. Here's a figure, which is pretty nice. And yeah, this figure looks really cool. Design's really good. So yeah, now in terms of design and all that, it looks really good. Yeah, really good. Now they've done a very good design in the figure, and head looks really good too, just like how Lex should be, which is really good. So in terms of portability, arms can move pretty well, but they can't really go into these due to this armor plating blocking them. But so you'd have to move it to a side like this a little bit to turn it. But yeah, it can't go, you know, when it's straight. Really, you got to turn it to a side like this. But yeah, it can go to the side pretty well though, which is pretty nice. Very well posable, quite loose though, but still very well movable. Elbow can also fold as well, but that's also quite well secured though. Yeah, I don't want to, like, you know, like, go too fast either, because I could, like, accidentally knock it off. Don't want to do that if it's loose. And as for the legs, they can move forward as well pretty well, like this. And not much to a back, but due to some arm plating on the back blocking them. So, yeah, makes sense. Can also go to the side too, like this, but it's quite loose, though. So, got to be careful with that. But, yeah, nonetheless, though, it's a great figure of Lex Luthor. And the hands here as well, so up close. Here is the left hand, which is clenched into a fist, which is pretty nice. And also a right hand, which is more opened up. The figure itself has hands which are like, you know, sort of clenched, but not entirely, because it got holes in so it can hold weapons or whatever. But the figure didn't come with any weapons, sadly. Like, I think that's probably my only nitpick I have, because it didn't come with any, like, kryptonite weapons to use on Superman or anything like that, sadly. Never mind. Nonetheless, it was a very good figure of Lex Luthor, and, yeah, we did a very good job designing it. So, yeah, definitely, you know, did a really good job with it. It's very impressive, really, and the head design's also very good, too. It can also move left and right a little bit too, but it's quite well secured, so I don't want to, you know, go too far with turning it in case I knock it off, you know, I've got to be careful. Nonetheless, was a very good figure of it. So guys, this is me doing my unboxing of my DC New 52 figure of Lex Luthor from the DC Multiverse tournament by McFarlane Toys. It's a very good figure, and definitely did a very good job designing it, and yeah, so you know, drill guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think of this figure Lex Luthor. If you have it in the comments, what you think of it. If you think I'll get I'd recommend it if you like Lex Luthor as a character, or DC, or McFarlane Toys figures in general. It's a must-have figure in my opinion. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe in the future. If you would like to be a member, you can respond using a piece of art or in the description, and I'll see you all later.